Here, you can exercise your rights to freedom every day without leaving your home. We don't just say, we do. It's the Stay in City way.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Real Talk with myself, Anele, on SABC3, where the stage is yours. With South Africa's recent rating downgrade, consumers are experiencing increased financial pressure, making it tough to save. July is National Savings Month, and there's no better time for you and I to get proactive with our saving habits and to remind ourselves of the urgent need to change our financial behaviors. Behind this initiative is SA Savings Institute, which launched the campaign in 2001 to raise awareness about the importance of saving, and that save today for a better tomorrow is not just a cliche. To talk about the important topic is Gabriel Mwandiambira, acting CEO of South African Savings Institute, as well as Motshabi, Nomvete, technical marketing specialist at the Professional Provident Society. And this basically means that I today have people who didn't drop out of school. Hi guys. So nice to have somebody with a degree on here. Or a few, who knows?
Or a couple, yeah.
Flex,
you know,
flex.
Throwing a bit of shade.
Look at this
That's
guy.
what they say, yeah.
Listen, is it not difficult to be telling people to save when we have no money to be saving? Gerald, I'll go with you first.
I think the whole concept of saving depends on you having an income. So yes, if you're not earning an income, you can't save.
Yeah.
However, everybody who's earning an income needs three things to save: discipline, commitment, and they need to have the willpower to do that.
Discipline, commitment, and the willpower.
It's like going to the gym.
I was about to say.
Yes.
You sound like a personal trainer.
It's the same thing, that until you see the benefits of saving, it's very difficult. It's a lifestyle. Just like the personal trainer says, until you've lost that last couple of kilos, you don't do it.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is to start realizing that everyone has the potential to save, because if you have an income, you have something which someone else doesn't have, an income. And we are not respecting our income. The reason why most people struggle with money is because if you don't respect the brown cents, the silver coins,
the notes are not going to
the
matter.
notes are not going to answer to you. So we need to start realizing that money is built up over time. You need to start off small. And as the South African Savings Institute, we say July Savings Month is just 1 month in a year when we talk saving and investment. However, it's something that should be happening all year round, every day. So we partner with financial institutions. This year we're with ABSA, and we say, let's all start talking the right conversation. Let's all save, because most people are spending 3/4 of their money, Anele, on debt.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something like nicer, and then you hit me with debt. Motshabi, I know obviously he's spoken about the fact that the reason most people can't save is because they don't have an income. Outside of not having an income, what are the barriers of facing South Africans, which is then stopping them from saving?
Okay, before I get into that question, I would just like to go back a few steps from where Gerald started. For me, I believe that everybody who has access to money, whether it be 10 Rand or an income or pocket money or wherever, anybody who gets to touch money needs to learn about saving. And simply because the relationship that you create with money from your first experience with money will be pretty much what's going to guide you for, likely what's going to guide you for the rest of your life with money. So we need to encourage young people who are not earning an income, but they're getting pocket money. So for them, that is an income. So we're pretty much saying the same thing, but start them young. That's the first trick. Now to your question of what are the challenges? I think one of the biggest challenges that is getting more and more recognition, and people are talking more and more about it because we're all being squeezed, is what we call the sandwich generation.
Yes.
We're finding a lot of people, and this is a worldwide phenomenon, where a lot of people have to look after mom and dad because they're living forever. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, and everybody else who probably did raise you or help to raise you. And then you've got your own kids. So you are the center in the middle. I mean, I always think of, imagine a nice big fat club sandwich.
Yeah.
They always look so beautiful. But the minute you bite it, this thing falls apart. All the good stuff falls out. And you are that ham and that lettuce and everything else in between the sandwiches, because mom she's got her demands, parents have their demands, they're getting older, they need care, they need all sorts of things. Here, your kids, you want the best for your kids and all of that. So that's putting an immense amount of pressure on working professionals, on anybody who really is working. And I think what we need to discuss and what we need to actually get to the bottom of is, one, why are we in that situation? And yes, there's legacy issues, there's historic issues, but more importantly, what are we going to do to get ourselves out of that? How are we going to break the cycle of that, so that tomorrow I'm not the one now depending on my kids to get me past retirement? People are living longer. So I think that's the first reality we need to accept.
No, I heard we're going to die soon.
Oh, no, somebody lied to you.
So we're living longer, which means
They're
that...
saying that the person who's going to live to 150 has been born yet.
Oh.
They say. Okay? More and more people, in the past,
we're living longer and we're not working longer.
We're living longer, but we're still retiring at the same time.
Yes.
So now think about it from a work perspective. If you're lucky, you start working, let's say 25.
Yes.
Okay? You work, if you're very lucky, your employer will keep you there till 65.
Yeah.
Okay? So now that's 40 years that you have. And then what happens if you live to 85 or 90? That's 25 years that you now need to look after yourself post receiving an income. And that's the kinds of, and that's why I say, firstly, we need to think very long term. As soon as you have an experience with money, you need to be thinking very long term, because money has to last you well after somebody's going to pay you.
Gerald, before we go to the ad break, I'm going to let you take this one. So, we all have, we have salaries, right? And in the last, say, 6-7 years, the increase has become smaller and smaller and smaller, yet the cost of living has not slowed down to suit how my salary's been increasing. How does that serve as a challenge as well?
I think it's about saying we need to look at our lifestyle. If you want to look at what I consider called wealth, wealth is about how long can you survive, Anele, without earning a single rand from all the work that you do.
About 3 days.
Okay. Now, most people walking around South Africa are equally wealthy, regardless of where they stay and how they live, because people are not thinking long-term. Wealth is measured in time and it's relative. So you could have your helper who, after you dismiss her, can go and live off what she's been saving with you for many months. So she's technically wealthier than you because she can manage her lifestyle longer. Problem is we are looking in the mirror and trying to copy other people's lifestyles. So before you start even saying how much do I need to save, how are you living? Are you living the life which is within your means? With consumerism, we've given birth to a lifestyle rat race where people are simply trying to live like someone else. And we need to take it back to basics, as she said, Ntabi. Children. And we grew up with passbooks. That's probably my age. They stamped money, and a birthday was a great day because money was coming. You know, our children don't understand what money is. They think it's black cards and platinum cards which you stick in walls and money pops out. We need to go back to basics. I say get your child 4 piggy banks or money boxes. In the first box, tell them, put a name on this, whatever you want, bicycle sweets, that's your goal. First pig.
Oh, wow.
Second one, every rand you put in there, I'm going to double it. Third one, this is for the orphans and those who have less. The fourth one can be for God, because everybody normally has something there. Now, you'll find your child will soon have many different goals. But the goal pig is really to teach a child that you save for a goal. When you want something, you have to sweat and work for it. And that's where the chores come in.
Over time.
Yes, over time. That's the savings money box. The second money box is the one you call the investment one. I am going to double it. Your child now knows if
I
you
was
put...
never taught about investments.
If you keep the money there, it's going to grow. That's investing. You've taught them a second principle of money. The third principle is that you're more fortunate than someone else. And the fourth is the one which says there's a higher power on all of us. Now, your child will learn which pig is more important.
Prioritize. Yes. Teaching them to prioritize and to save and to work around money.
So that's it. When the pigs are full, you take them and you take them to this big building called a bank and you put them in there. Your child will now appreciate that when mommy swipes, there's actually been pigs which were taken in and that's what happened. It comes from somewhere. And that way your child starts appreciating. And children are mirror images of yourself. If you are somebody who's an indiscriminate spender, your child is going to do the same thing. So if you have a vice, whether it's airtime or chocolate, if they see you just randomly buying, they're going to be random spenders as well. Carry a list, even if it means for the sake of your child, pretend to write a list as you enter the shop. You are structuring your child's mind to realize that money is structured. You need a budget. We need to be working working in a way which is structured with money. And the reason we're in the mess as South Africa we are right now is because we watch TV and we see cars, but we don't know that someone actually worked to get that car.
Okay, so basically what Gerald is saying is we're shutting down Instagram. Consider yourself a savings hero or zero, or do you have some foolproof tips that you have when it comes to saving? Add your voice to the conversation by sending us a voice note to our WhatsApp line. It's on your screen right now. We'd love to hear from you. We will be right back. This is interesting. And welcome back. If you've just tuned in, we're looking at a very important subject matter, cultivating the culture of savings as South Africans. As it's been stated in the show, we are in trouble. We're in big trouble. We have a whole lot of debt. Now, when it comes to the 4 piggies that we're talking about in terms of teaching your children about saving, now let's bring it to me. Let's say now I have debt and I want to start saving. So I must get out of debt before I can start saving. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. What's the first thing I must do, Motshabi?
The first thing is you need to firstly own your problem, own your debt. Because I think often we sit and we hope that somehow miraculously we're going to wake up and this debt's going to be wiped off. So you need to sit down, have a you talk, list all your debt down, okay? Then you look at, okay, where am I paying the most interest on my debt? Because remember, interest eats away at the little money that you have already. So then try to pay that off as quickly as possible, or prioritize it. So the ones with the highest interest, you pay that off first. Obviously with the commitment that Gerald spoke about earlier, as you pay it off, it is not an excuse for you to now go and extend the loan, because there's a whole lot of all these revolving loans and what have you not. So as soon as you finish it, say, guess what? You can get all that money back. As you pay it off, cut it off. For example, with a credit card, as you pay that off, ask the bank on a monthly basis, then reduce my balance. So I've paid in X, reduce my balance by that much, so that there is absolutely no temptation for you to quickly dig into that, what you've already paid in. So that's how it's the discipline until you eventually, and you know what, these things snowball. Once you've paid off one debt, that money now goes on to the next debt. And then on to the next date. So then you find that now where you were paying 100 Rand before, tomorrow you can now pay 200 Rand, 250. And so it grows. And then before you know it, it's going to be over. It's going to be painful. I'm not going to lie to you. Because it's going to take an awful lot of sacrifice from you. But it is not impossible. And the freedom, the absolute freedom and peace of mind that you will get when the debt is gone is priceless. So like I said before, think long term. Think about, I will suffer now. And also I think you also need to be honest with yourself to say what got me into this in the first place, so that you can pick up the warning signs the next time around.
So I've heard a lot about the emotional side, that if you're not fine emotionally, you won't be fine financially, because emotions drive you to make terrible financial decisions.
Yep.
Definitely, it's our childhood.
Yeah.
We grew up rough. You know, we've got some people who you give them a plate of cabbage, even if you garnish it with funny colors, they'll say cabbage never, because they've lived it.
Where's the meat?
And that's that whole childhood experience. We can mold our children. The big people, we need to start just being better at managing money, because big people problems are that, do I pay debt or do I save? My challenge is that debt and savings are not like a legal scale where one side is balancing the other. Debt and savings are the same side of the same coin. So you look at yourself and say, my coin, is it full of debt or is it full of saving? No matter how good a debt payer you are, if you lose your job in 3 months, they will be looking for you. They will. You might not even have a phone number.
You can't be like, but guys, I've been so good.
No, it doesn't matter.
That doesn't
if
work,
you've been very good at saving and you lose your job, you have a fighting chance. You can negotiate with those people you own money and say, look, I can pay less, but I am looking for a job. And that's why savings is equally important to debt management. It's not two opposites. It's one side, same coin. You can't prioritize one over the other. They need to happen concurrently. When you are out of debt, save. It is liberating. It will allow you to start dreaming and reach your full potential. And you can start moving away from having just an emergency fund to having proper money. So our campaign this year as the Savings Institute is around big people problems, to say discipline, commitment, and sacrifice other things and willpower, the things that are hampering us. How can we offload it to someone else? Because it's easy to put it on someone else. So we've said employers must step in. And employers must step in not by increasing your salary. So it doesn't mean let's toy. We want more money. No.
12%.
No. We're saying employees must structure the pay packet better in terms of saying that the amount you contribute towards retirement should default to the maximum, not the minimum. It's about saying to the employers, in your conditions of employment, make the 13th check mandatory so that December comes, people are not suffering January because it's January disease time. We're saying to the employer, make financial planning part of employee benefits. They give you medical aid.
As much as it's medical aid and there's gym and there's massages and there's nails when it's Women's Day,
let's get a financial planner once a year in. Because if I give you a provident or pension fund, unless you know what it means at the end of it all, it's absolutely useless. So someone like yourself, Anele, I think you're about 21, no, maybe 25.
33.
Okay, your real age. But let's say you were 25. You were 25 and you want 15 million when you retire at 65. 65 is a bad age to retire, by the way. You should retire at 55. That's the official age. But let's say 65. You need to save 700 rand. You'll have the equivalent of today's 15 million. However, it's today's 15 million. In 40 years' time, nah, it's worth 2 million. So if you want 15 million real value in 15 years at 15% return, you need to save for 49 million. At 25, it's just 2,000 rand. They are popping bottles. They're spending 2,000 rand every month, our 25-year-olds. They can live a better life.
If I, slow down, hold it on. If I start putting away 2,000 rands a month now.
At 25?
At a
15%
give or take. Listen to this. You're 25, you start putting away 2,000 rands a month. You will have 49 million when you retire at 65.
Yeah, 15% long-term average return right now. Equity market is not doing so great, but the main thing is you know the numbers behind the behavior, which is why the financial planner comes in, and they're very important because you need to have that financial doctor. He's a marriage counselor. He's everything to you. And for us right now, we make money decisions left, right, center. We buy cars, we buy houses, and we don't consult anyone.
Motshabi, there's a voice note that I want you to answer.
Sure.
Well, good afternoon, guys. I just want to find out from our panel this afternoon that how do you make a structured budget? I think there are probably some core fundamentals about a budget system. So how do you make a core budget for whichever type of salary? My name is Tinashe. I'm listening to you all the way from Zimbabwe.
Yo, Tinashe, you speak well, eh? Yo, hey, man.
Okay, I'll take that one, Tinashe. I think it's actually very simple. You need to sit down and you need to know absolutely everything that is coming in. So all money that you're getting, whether it be one income, multiple incomes, wherever you're getting money, you need to put that down on a piece of paper. And then you need to say, what is going out? Once you have that picture, you can say, what do I need to cut, most importantly? And that's probably the toughest decision you're going to have to, or conversation you're going to have with yourself. Making the decision to say, do I really need this? Some things are nice to have, and yes, we all believe we need more stuff than we need to. So you need to be very disciplined yourself. But also be careful. In your budgeting and in your planning, have some me money. Have some money where you can just go wild and crazy, but not too wild and crazy. So because if you plan for that and it is part of your daily plan, then you should be okay. The problem is we tend to be very extreme. Either we spend everything or we pretend that we're not going to spend anything, and then it catches up with us 2 or 3 months later, then we really spend everything.
Yes.
So it's a question of being fair to yourself, obviously within reason, and saying, well, I'm going to allow myself a little bit of leeway. But then you need, and then more importantly...
But even that you must plan.
Like, but even that you must plan for.
I see my birthday coming up. I predict that I'm going to want to do this.
So absolutely everything that you do, we're not saying don't live and be forever slaving away and not seeing the fruits of your labor.
Just water and brown bread.
No. We need to live. You need these things that you want to have experiences, and some of these things do cost money. So we're saying do all of that. But, and also more importantly, at the end of the month, have another meet-to-meet conversation and say, where am I on my plan? This was my target. This was my plan. Have I done it? Have I not done it? If not, why not? And how do I fix it? Don't wait for, it's not a New Year's resolution. So you don't do this once every 12 months and then say, oops, I've been so bad all of last year. Every single month, you mark it. Okay, this one achieved, this one, ooh, okay, fine. What do I need to change this month to quickly fix it? Because remember, if you fix it, the sooner you fix it, the smaller it is to fix. The more time you let it just roll away, it just becomes bigger and bigger. And then one day you're going to say, when did this happen? Where was I? And how did it happen? So be consistent in that, and you will find it becomes a culture. Just quickly back to what Gerald was saying earlier on as well, that for the 2,000 rand, 25, that starts with a simple culture of saving, which we do not have enough of, if any. And I thought to myself, where did this get so complicated? Our parents, like you said, if you start with your little piggy bank, our parents and grandparents had stokvels. They had money jars in the house. They knew that this money jar is for bread. It was kaftini.
Yeah.
Nothing more and nothing less. This one is for transport for me to get to work. This one is for this one is for that. We've taken all of that away. Fine, banking is supposed to have made our lives easier. But I think because now our money does get intertwined. So now the transport money becomes the bread money, becomes the entertainment money. So much as the money is now in a central place, you still need to be very clear in your head that this money is for this purpose and only that purpose. Back to my point earlier on about the sandwich generation again. Often
I have to push you to rap. But
okay.
please, yeah.
Often you find yourself that now there's other commitments. There's a funeral at home.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with you wanting to help with the funeral at home, within your means. That's all we're asking for. So don't come and be the silver bullet that's going to now bury this person and solve the world's problems. You go there and you say, I'm so sorry my uncle has now departed,
But this is all
but
I can give.
help you with my 200 rand. That's it. Be honest with yourself and be honest with people. Because remember, you teach people how to treat you. If you teach them that you just got money all the time, left,
They're
right,
gonna
and
come for
center,
money all
they
the
will
time.
expect money left, right, and center from you.
Okay, so I understand this is like National Savings Month, but I think this is a conversation we need to be having monthly. So I think we should make a plan where you guys come back and give us scenarios and things that we should be doing on a monthly basis. We'll talk to the team about it. Time to say goodbye to our guests. Hope you're financially schooled. I know I am. Taking a short ad break. Then when we come back, we are going to be dealing with a remarkable actor who is the lead in a multi-award winning musical that has just returned to our stages. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Real Talk. We're back. My guest right now is no stranger to the arts and certainly no stranger to the stage. He has performed in many television shows, theatre productions, films and commercials. He's best known for his roles as Phelo Mohale in the SABC2 soap Mwango and Pastor Gabriel in Isitingo. He has done award-winning work in and out of South Africa, such as Dream Girls, which toured the USA between 2012 and 2013, and the Cape Town Opera's Mandela's Trilogy, which has toured the UK and Germany. He has won an award for Best Performance by a lead actor in the musical Orpheus in Africa and bagged a SAFTA for the lead role in Ingoma, which also won 6 other awards. Multi-award winning actor Aubrey Poo joins us in studio today. My best friend says I must say to you, how dare you slap the mine manager's daughter?
You know, all of this is out of body experiences. I mean, I never know what I'm doing.
That's all he wanted me to say. I said to him, my man, Gabriel is on the show today. You're not Aubrey, by the way. You're Gabriel in our lives. So Gabriel's on the show today. He's like, please ask Gabriel how he thinks it's okay. That role, hey?
Oh.
That role, hey?
Oh.
It's
a gift. It has been a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
I think when I got written onto the show, it was supposed to just be a 4-month story arc. But I think I was at the right time artistically in my life to just throw myself in there without any fear. Thinking, well, it's 4 months, let me just play for the 4 months and I'm going to go away.
Oh, you like the last batsman, swing.
Yeah, let me just
swing for the
and
crowd.
I win the game. So I came in, I had so much fun, and you know the creative team enjoyed what I was doing with it, and it has since grown. But this last storyline was a very challenging one, and the head writer, Bongindaba and Sis Pumla Hopa had to come in and say, look, this is very different from everything that you've been playing over the year.
Yeah.
So you've got to play it with as much gravitas and seriousness, and you've got to be mean. We're not asking you to bring your personal life on front of the camera.
We're not saying be a method actor or anything, but we're just saying come with it.
Yeah.
So how much do you appreciate writing? Because I know that you've done a bit of writing. Is it Diamonds and Dust?
Diamonds and Dust. Well,
you wrote that, right?
I wrote the links. It's a musical review. So, I mean, it takes you across a 3-4 decade lifespan of South African music from the 40s up until, you know, Unkalagata. That's what the hit was.
Okay.
The Kwaito hit was at the time. So I wrote the narrative links that told the story of this music. But I write my own corporate theater work. So I just love the process of creating. And then also when I get my scripts, even at this dingo, I sit and I reimagine, and no disrespect.
Everyone says he's not scripted.
I am.
No, no. Everyone, I promise you, everyone. If we happen to be at a braai or I'm at a house and you come on screen, the first thing that comes out of anyone's mouth is he's not scripted.
No, I actually am, but I think I take the liberty, and I've been given the room to reimagine, because writers write the world and they write for different scenarios, but I'm playing just one character, and I know what would come out of his mouth, and I know how to breathe life into those words. So instinctively, instead of him saying, "Hello, how are you?" I'd say it how Gabriel would say it.
How would Gabriel say it?
Don't ask me now. It's always an out-of-body experience.
Don't ask. He's actually shy. Do you see that? There's a little don't ask me now. So let's go all the way back to Pro Arta then. Is this where it started? Because Pro Arta is
an art school.
Is an art school, right? Is this where it started, where because I feel like in normal schools, like, I went to like Sutherland, which is a normal school, so we did have drama, but you would be doing everything else, and then you have to
extramural.
Then it's go do those drama things of yours,
Yeah.
But I feel like with Pro Arta, from when you got into the school grounds, it's
knew.
flair.
Well, it's an art school with 4 artistic, specializing with 4 artistic disciplines. So as similarly as with NSA, you've got your fine arts, you've got dance, you've got music, and you've got dramatic arts. So for ballet you needed a grade, a UNISA linked grade. I think that's music. It was a UNISA linked grade, but then with dance also you needed like grade 5, or at least elementary. I can't draw to save my life, so I couldn't get into fine arts. So I just recited Macbeth there, and it worked out. I got into the school, but in fact I did ballet for a year.
I know this.
After I got into the school, I did ballet for a year, and with that I learned a lot of discipline. And I went back to drama, so I've never seen myself doing anything else. I think leaving school, I wanted to go further my studies in the arts and get into the industry.
And you went to Pretoria Technikon, and you were on the arts campus there as well.
Yeah. With your sister.
With my sister. Look at you guys, man. Look at this.
us.
Look at you. And now here's the thing.
Yes.
There's a certain, because there's this cloud that hangs over any child that wants to get into arts, right?
Yes.
And so you in Pro Arts, you get out of there and you go to Pretoria Technikon,
Yes.
where everyone wants to get into arts.
Yes.
There's a certain cloud where it's like, what happens if I don't make it? If I'm one of the people that don't make it, that the industry speaks about and our parents speak about, the people who don't get to fulfill their dreams, and then you must go get an office job and you must go do something else, and you're not going to be on stage and you're not going to be on TV, and do you know what I'm saying? Did you ever have that dark cloud over your head?
No. To be honest, I didn't. I think from about, it was standard 8 in my days. What is it now? Grade 10.
Yeah.
From about grade 10, I had a sense that this is what I want. I'm, within reason, good at it. So I think I just need...
Were you always the best in school?
With high school, I was poor academically. I think just my grey matter started forming properly once I got into tertiary. Because I was doing what I love, and there was a focus. But yeah, I as far as my drama subjects were concerned, the practical stuff, I was good at it.
Yeah.
I got my A's with every practical exam that I did. But I never had that. I always say to somebody, look, you got to find something within the industry that you like. And the industry, as far as training has opened up, there's your AFDAS where you can go to learn how to be a producer. You don't...
A director.
Or a director, so to speak. And there's young talent. I mean, you've got Tiani. I just forgot Tiani's surname, who's an amazing DOP. You've got Tabang Muleya, who's an amazing director.
Yeah.
You've got young talent, and that's because of schooling. So I'm one who always advocates an education in the arts. People come and say, Anele, I want to be a presenter too. I know I've got it. But have you got something? Have you got media training? Have you got something? Have you been in the field long enough to know that they can sit in that chair? So I always advocate training. Whether you go to school, whether you volunteer your time and but some form of time.
When did you, because I mean, you how do I put this without sounding like I'm dissing you? you're not in need of any confidence.
Oh.
And you never have been. I've known you for a while, Aubrey.
Yeah.
So when did you do something, be it a role or a production, and as you were driving home, you were like, Aubrey, you got it?
Wow.
Do you want me to go to an ad break so you can think about that?
Not quite. I think you... Do you want to go to an ad break?
No, you tell me. Tell me.
I think Dream Girls and Orpheus. And I think with Dream Girls, me being taken from the South African cast to join an all-American cast, I think that was a stamp of approval. But I'm always humbled. You're as good as your last performance. So I could have been brilliant last night and actually, on nights when I think, man, I had it, you actually sucked. And on nights when I'm feeling quite insecure, you were honest and vulnerable.
Vulnerability is what makes us good, though.
Yeah. So that's what I think, that and Orpheus, when working with David Kramer in Cape Town. And that's what I got the Florida Cup for. I think there I put myself in wholly and also contributed a lot of my experience and thinking about the craft and how to create musical theater.
Oh man, I've got another question, but now I must go to an ad break. This is too much. Aubrey and myself would like to hear from you. What do you want to ask him? Tweet us. Make sure you're hashtagging Real Talk with Anele. We will be right back. I'm going to keep my question. You're watching Real Talk. If you've just tuned in, my guest today, a multi-talented actor who wears many hats. He's very passionate about what he does and says he's not doing it for the fame. Aubrey Poo. I know I'm saying it wrong, yes? Aubrey Poo is sitting right opposite me.
Poo.
Poo.
Yeah.
Poo, which means bull.
Yep.
Are you stubborn?
Sometimes.
What star sign are you?
Oh, Gemini.
Gemini.
So there's 12 of me sitting here.
Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us. So what I wanted to ask you before is, when you say that you got pulled out of the South African cast,
Yes.
and you were playing Curtis, ne?
Yes.
Which is the lead.
Yes.
When you got pulled out, were you getting pulled out to play Curtis there as well?
Yep.
Hi, man.
Well, I've always believed I even auditioned for Lion King in New York when I was on tour in the States.
Yeah.
And they said, are you willing to take understudy? And I said, I didn't travel all the way this far to play an understudy. I was 32 then. I said, I'm 32 years old. I didn't come all the way halfway across the world to play an understudy. I'm sorry to sound so forward, but my ambition is hungry. If I go to the States, and I think, you have achieved so much at home.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go to London to start 7 steps back?
So you don't believe that? Because here's something I believe is that when you are at this level here at home, right? And so let's say there's 10 steps that we go through. And let's say you and I right now, we're at step 9 and 10. Then we go over across there. But now you don't go there and have the skill that you had at 2. You go there and have the skill that you have at 9 and 10. So as much as you're at 2 there, you are just going to get sharper and sharper as you're climbing the ladder, because you have the skill that you had here. And the only reason you're starting down there is because it's in another country.
Nobody knows.
So you're not any less good. It's just that you're starting out. So that's something then you should consider.
The industry is bigger there. I mean, I think Idris, for example, had achieved so much in the UK, in London, before he broke Atlanta, never mind Hollywood first, So there are those steps to take, but I think I don't want to be waiting tables. If I go over to London, I'd rather go with a formidable something that I know I can keep myself alive and keep my dignity with me. Otherwise, why not stay here and share your talent with this country where you are a 9 and a 10?
So then I guess the question is, if they say, can you play understudy? Do you say, can you pay me like I'm playing the main one?
Well, look, it's the cost of the opportunity. What would you rather have? Would I rather have the money, or would I rather have the... And there have been times when I say, I hear you, but I need X amount to live.
Okay.
So I weigh that all the time. I go, I need X amount to live a month. I hear your opportunity, but if you can, because in reality, you have to be paying me triple what you're offering me, but then meet me at what I need to live a month, and then we can get into bed.
I guess when you good and trained, you can make demands like that.
Yeah.
There's a voice note. Let's hear it. Press play.
Hi, my name is Nomvete and I want to ask Aubrey, how does he transact from being a theatre actor to being an on-screen actor?
Is that the question?
That's the question.
That's a very good one. I believe telling stories is just telling stories. The medium is different. In as much as Gerald was talking here, when he applies himself in financial services industry, he knows he's talking to these individuals, and therefore you change what you do. Your lens for TV is this small, but then for the theatre you've got a proscenium arch, and you've got 800, sometimes 2,000 people sitting in front of you. So it's about projecting and just tweaking technique. But and that's where training comes in. You have to do your time in front of the camera to know, bring it down, and on stage, make it bigger. We can't read you.
But I know when you moved on to TV, they said to you, less, Aubrey, less. Did you not? Because, I mean, you come in and you like, I'm good, and then you told less. You're like, what do you mean? I am here to act.
Look, theatre, most acting training in this country is theatre based.
Yes.
So you don't do a lot of camera work. And obviously all you know is to be big. And when they tell you do less, it's years of doing less and doing less and doing less. And to get to a point. But something that a fellow actress told me is that sometimes people use the less as an excuse not to act.
Not to act.
And that's when we allow just anybody to come into the industry and say, I'm an actor. Where sometimes just pucker it up a bit, play different colors. And that's when real acting comes in. And that's when it doesn't matter whether the person is on stage or on screen. You can see that we have an actor here. I think I respect a Silo Makega, I respect a Jamie Bartlett, I respect a Denzel Washington. In anything that he does, there's a theatricality in the telling of the story, whether he's bringing it down or blowing it up. I don't know if I know he's won an Oscar.
Who?
Denzel.
He's got 2.
Twice.
He's got 2, and then he's got
Al
an
Pacino's
honorary
only
one.
got 1.
Oh, Tom Hanks.
Look at that. Well, we're hoping I get mine.
Well, you're well on your way to getting your first one. There's another voice note.
Hello, Anele. I love your show. Never miss it. I have to ask your guest, when you are playing the dark role that you sometimes do, and you do it so convincingly, where do you go to portray that dark role so well? Because you must go to a certain place. What place do you go to? But once again, Anele, awesome show.
Ooh, I don't go anywhere. I just go to work. But it's a very brilliant question. It's all in the writing, and I suppose we all connect to human truths. And I think as an actor, I mean, I've been in the industry for 15, 16 years odd. You learn to observe life and observe human truths, and I get to understand that. And I get to understand the psyche behind somebody doing something, to a point where I sometimes take it back to the writers and say, no. It's one-dimensional. He wouldn't just do this because it needs to. I'm afforded that liberty at times, with much swearing thrown my way. But yeah, I go to work, and you got to commend the writers that we have. It's all in the writing. It's all there. And where I feel we're short of something, I sometimes say, less. He needs to say less. It's all in the eyes. It's all in this. Or he needs to be more colorful. So it's a collaborative effort we have with the entire team to bring out this character that's dark and mercurial.
Who?
Mercurial.
Pretty technical, eh? I was dishing out the education there. I lied to you earlier. Denzel's got 2. It's Sidney Poitier that's got 3.
Yeah. Reading his
and
book.
you're on the way. We are not done. Not by a long shot. There's still more coming up right after this. Wait a minute, we've got an insert, don't we? I'm out here waiting for him to sing. So that's Marikana, right? Marikana the musical, the ones that's come back for another round.
Yeah.
By popular demand.
Yeah, I think this is our third season.
Yeah.
Doing it, so it's loved, and I think it's quite an important story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a story that will have to be told repeatedly.
Yep.
For a while to come. A while to come. Apparently, it could get very emotional on the set there.
Yeah. I think one thing that I respect about Mishak Mavuso, who leads the miners, because there's two worlds, actually three worlds, but I think there's an investment in the writing in two worlds. You've got the cops who are trying to quell the violence and stop the march, and then you've got the miners who are fighting for a cause. And, you know, it's a human, the telling of the story is done in such a way that you see the humanity behind what happened. There's no finger pointing as to,
there's no
you were
media
wrong.
and politicizing.
Nope.
There's the raw element of the story.
There's that. And what I love about what Aubrey Poo did, we need to, and this is what we need to start doing. Cats is fabulous. You know, and
but it's enough.
But it's enough, and we need to start telling our people stories about themselves. And people need to see themselves on stage and have us sing in a way that there's the boys there sing Isqata Mia, which is very difficult from a technique perspective. And when the audience hear that, they burst out into applause and cheers. So yeah, it gets emotional for the actors as well, but the audience.
Oh my word, I've just got goosebumps. When is it coming back? I need to go see it.
Well, we've been previewing since Tuesday, and tomorrow is our opening night, and we run up until the 12th of August, the anniversary of the massacre.
And at Market Theatre?
At the Pretoria State, the South African State Theatre in Pretoria.
Oh.
So, yeah, come one, come all, come see this very important story. I think we've got a cast of about 30 people odd on stage. So the vocals that come out, the music that's been written, you know, there's a bit of humor here and there.
Yeah.
So it's great entertainment. There's an age limit. You can't bring kids younger than 13, I think.
Yeah. So, but it's not all dreary, which is what you're saying.
No.
Will we see it become a movie like Sarafina became a movie after it being a stage production?
I don't know. There's been talk of a tour. There's been talk of... So, you know, we will all wait with bated breath and hope that the story can be taken to the world. Never mind the world. I hope that the rest of South Africa, can we take it to Durban? Can we take it to Cape Town?
If we can see Pearl Harbor, the movie, I don't see why we can't see Marikana. But perhaps this is when you can come through for the first time as a producer.
Well, look at that. Yeah, I think in every other interview when they ask what's next, because in South Africa you hit a glass ceiling at some point after you've played a soapy role for so many years and you've done this movie, that movie. I've got stage as an outlet, but I think I want to get into the business of it, and that's what Gerald and Nomvete talks about.
National savings.
I've got to broaden my revenue streams. I think it's getting into the business of it, and I think my age is right to sit in front of people and say, have enough youthful energy, but have enough, you know, gray matter to say, I think this is what will take this industry forward. I'm ready for that. So maybe I should go talk to one of the mining companies so that they can fund this production.
Do you hear that? We're going to say goodbye to you. Before we do that, what is the maker for an actor?
Stage. At Broadway, West End. I think being on stage, that's unless you wanted me to give you an answer from a statement I made.
No, not at all. Because you must remember, you are if there's one thing about you that I've picked up, you're always evolving.
Yeah.
And this is why it's always nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
And at every given time, your answers are your knowledge and experience at the time.
That's fine, yeah.
And every time you do a play, it's almost like you're a mansion, right? And every time you do a play or a soapy or whatever, it opens another door into another mansion. So this is why it's always amazing to speak to you.
Thank you.
So when I ask you what is the maker for an actor, I want to know what is the maker right now, not what you said before.
For me, it's always going back to where you can polish your craft. I think for me, being on stage, I work with the lovely. He's morphed from being a mentor back in the early years of my career to being a collaborator and a creative compadre. James Ngobo, who's the artistic director.
He was here. He is.
His passion on legs. Yeah.
He started sweating here the one time.
no.
He's like, I mean,
He sweats as he's
Anele. We
directing
were like, whoa.
He sweats as he's directing you. But for me, working with James and going back to the market theatre stage, I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I just recently did a piece for just one night. I did a piece from the Coloured Museum, which I did in 2013. And I'm a different actor 4 years later. I'm a different person.
That's what I was telling you.
You know, so so for me, going back to that which polishes your craft. So if you're an athlete, going back to that which centers and grounds you and humbles you. I think for me, stage does that, because you could have been great last night, but are you great again today?
Well, I'm certain you're going to be great today, tomorrow, and forever. We'll wait for you to get that Oscar.
Thank
you
you.
may start with supporting. Don't go straight for Best Actor, because then what do you have to
No,
look out for?
supporting is always
Start
good.
supporting, then go Best Actor, then Best Director, then Best Film.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
four.
no.
That's four Oscars.
That's four levels. That's
four
levels.
Oscars that is promising us.
That's
Okay,
levels,
we gonna count. We gonna count.
Well, it must happen before I'm 65, as Gerald said.
And that's how we wrap up the show. Catch Mr. Aubrey at the State Theatre, the South African Theatre, where he'll be performing Marikana, the musical. And do join us tomorrow again. We're kickstarting your weekend. We're in conversation with Donald. The Donald we all know we deserve. Yes, him. You don't want to miss this one. From me as well as the team. Bye-bye.